Hi, good morning, everybody. We're so happy to see you folks again and able to share with you some very, very important message today. The reason why I did this seminar called a Smart Way to Cut Sugar Fast. The reason is a lot of people are not sensitive. Wow, what is really the sugar that you would take without really looking at the label? And at the end of the day, that result, wow, you can take a lot of sugar without knowing. A lot of people eat a lot of sugar type of cereal. That result in realize every year you take 50 pounds of sugars, just eating those cereal without taking, including all the other sugar you take. And a lot of people don't realize where the sugar came from. So this is the reason why I established this webinar. It's called the Smart Way to Cut Sugar Fast. Is for all the audience to let them sensitively to understand where those sugar come from. And I think this is going to be a very good webinar to enlighten you to say, wow, this is where my sugars come from. And if you take less amount of sugar at the end of the day will help you for your pre-diabetic, your diabetes, or even you're not diabetic, will give you much more healthier life in the sense that you won't get into the future problem of diabetes. So shall we start? It's going to be a really, really good webinar to help you to better understand what that means together with all the sugar that you potentially can take. So I'm going to get my slide over and go from there. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what is a smart way to cut down your sugar fast. Okay, so that's where we're going right now. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about why sugar is a problem, and then most common hidden sugar, where they come from. And that will be a bunch of them. You will be surprised that's how many sugars are there. And that's the normal food that you intake. You get all the sugar. And how you stop to craving this sugar before you can even start, you prevent it of the craving. It's up to you. And you can do that. Okay. So it's very simple. So we'll teach you the method to do that. And that on top of that, how to read the nutritional label and how you get a sugar checklist to understand what is the real big one with sugar and how the sugar help you. And so today we have a fairly full seminar, but in a sense, I think this is really good. So anyway, I see a lot of names, which I'm not quite familiarized, but that's all right. But the important thing is seeing you folks participate in our webinar. And basically in here, you see that because we want to make sure everybody catching up with each other. So what I'm doing is now I'm going to share with you basically how diabetic form and all go through 4 stages. Now, even though you say, I don't have diabetes yet, but you might potentially be pre-diabetic. So we are going to show you how that happened. A lot of time the LDL cholesterol goes up, and when LDL cholesterol goes up, will damage the B cells coming out from the insulin, your pancreas. And these B cells are supposed to take the sugar to the cells. So B cells are taking sugar to the cell, then that result, you have more sugar circling around in the bloodstream with the LDL cholesterol. And your blood become very thick. When your blood becomes thick, it starts forming plaques everywhere on the vessel wall. And when these plaques start forming, you will start getting less space in the vessels and your blood pressure goes up. Now, this is really the diabetic issue or pre-diabetic issue is going to start because what happened in diabetes is all these plaques are formed everywhere. Your brain, your heart, your kidney, everywhere. Now, short term, no problem. But long term, you're going to have a lot of problem because you're going to be continue to build up this plaque. So that is really the major problem diabetic. Now, majority of people are not aware of that, even the slight blood pressure going up because you have no pain, no feeling. So you continue the same lifestyle, eventually, bang, you'll go to pre-diabetic, which you might not even know. Now, every doctor in the whole world will measure the same thing. It's called HbA1c. Everybody have this red blood cell is called hemoglobin. And your hemoglobin, they measure the amount of blood sugar or the glucose percent of sugar attached to the hemoglobin. If you are 5.7 and below, you are a normal person. But if you are 5% above to 6.4%, now you become a pre-diabetic. Unfortunately, pre-diabetic, you have no medication. Usually the doctor will tell you, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you're now pre-diabetic. You really got to figure out how to change your lifestyle, like lower your carb, do exercise, lower your weight, so you will not move yourself, change the diabetes. However, with this, when doctors tell you this, you really have no understanding. Most of them, 90% will say, oh, okay, but you don't know how to do this. So basically, you continue the same lifestyle, but we don't want to do that. That's the reason why I want you to really learn about what's happening. This is the time you can able to stop that. What you can do is truly change lifestyle with diet, exercise, and lower your weight. Plus, we have one item for you called low sugar tea. If you continue to drink low sugar tea, you most likely have a chance to actually lower your A1C from maybe 6.3, 6.4, all the way back to 5.7. And if you do all exercise, change lifestyle, you will able to maintain yourself in good health without moving yourself to diabetes when you A1C over 6.4. And if you are actually moved to A1C to 6.4 and above, some of my clients like 8, 9, 10, they actually, after drinking low sugar for a few weeks and months, they can now go back down to below 6.4 and below to 6 and 5.7. So it is really up to you to make sure you change your lifestyle and do it and make sure that you change that, then you can able to really reverse that trend. Now, why you drink low sugar tea? Low sugar tea is not a drug, it's only a food, it's a tea that there's only two items in there. There's guava leaves, which is help delay the absorption of sugar into the blood vessel. And there's bitter melon, which is increase the insulin sensitivity, taking back the sugar to the cell so you have fuel to use. And then the wonderful thing is the excess sugar, they do not reabsorb the body. They will dump the sugar out, they dump the cholesterol out, LDL cholesterol, and dump the salt out. When the salt go out, the blood pressure go down. So your three highs are all well taken care of and bring the three high down, then you'll be very much more healthy. So that's why low sugar tea really work. It's a simple product, very nice to drink. Lots of my customers are drinking, 6 to 8 cups a day, and they became really good, much healthier on the cholesterol and blood sugar level, plus the blood pressure are much better. So think about that. Now, we don't really just give you low sugar drink because we have also have a 5 program to help you. Basically, ask you to drink low sugar tea. Plus, we have teach you about low carb diet, low fat diet to help you to control your diet intake, so you have less sugar intake. Like today's lecture, less sugar intake to you. Plus, we have exercise. Teach you about walking 8 to 10,000 steps a day. Maybe using a step master to do your exercise so you can lower your weight. Plus, you can weight control. You get your weight control from your BMI 30 all the way to 23. Plus, we have weekly free webinar. We have over 300 webinar in the website right here. The YouTube site is you go to YouTube, you go CTT low shoe T slash video. Remember this thing? So you look at that. We have 300 of this webinar to help you, 352 now, to help you to better understand the whole series on how to eat, how to exercise, how to weight control, how to measure blood sugar. Everything's there. What we're trying to do is empower you so you can able to do things for yourself, to understand your disease, so you can able to actually control it. Because diabetes will not get well. You just need to control. That is the key, okay? So a lot of people have A1C over 10 plus, they will go down to 5.7. And up to you, you can do that or not. I'm sure you could. It's just, matter of fact, is to take the action the first day. So let's talk about what is sugar. Why sugar is a problem. Now, sugar, the unfortunate is hitting, it's going to help you to raise the glucose level up. And if you have chronic, continue eating sugar and so forth, then you're going to start chronic insulin resistance. In other words, the insulin no longer work anymore. That's a sad thing. If your insulin doesn't work, your blood sugar goes up. And also, it can link up with all kind of disease, especially type 2 diabetes. because you are basically with a lot of sugar. You are type 2 diabetic is really the key is that will one disease will form. So you can actually prevent your type 2 diabetic if you can cut down your sugar. It's that simple. So you might ask, well, why sugar make a big problem for you? See, when you eat a lot of sugar, one thing you know you what can happen, you gain a lot of weight. And you also have a lot of you're crushing your energy, if you will, and you got a lot of mood swing because your blood sugar go up. You have good mood because blood sugar come down, bad mood. I mean, it's just screw up your whole body. Now, weight gain is a real issue because when you eat a lot of sugar, like drinking soda water, iced tea, processed food, all these are usually in high calorie, besides just not the sugar itself to sweeten the taste. And on the other hand, the nutritions are low value. So what happens, you lead you with this, you eat all this stuff, will increase your weight and fat storage, then your weight goes up. And that's not good for you because weight will hurt your heart eventually and hurts, all kind of problem goes up if you're overweight. Now, what it mean energy crush? Because what happens, you eat a lot of sugar, and then you basically your sugar will right away goes up, your blood sugar goes up, and then suddenly when later on very quick fast, they will drop it down. So you have a yo-yo of blood sugar, and not that result you can feel very fatigued and a low energy level because you don't want to get sugar spike basically. You want sugar slowly goes up and actually going down, but not to get spike and come down. And that's the time will you basically get you to be very tired and could be moody, and you got a swing when your blood sugars are usually very good. But on the hand, then you when not so good, your negative impact on the mood, and then you'll be very irritable, anxious, all that is basically caused from the sugar. And that's the reason why you don't want to eat a lot of sugar, and that will harm for you. Now, but I said, well, I don't eat much sugar. But do you know a lot of the sugars are hidden in a lot of places where you don't know? And when you read it, then you realize there's a lot of sugar. Because the problem is 70% of packaged food, 70%, the majority of food, like cereals, sauces, yogurt, all that all these packages add sugar to encourage to get better taste with high fructose, corn syrup, cane syrup, dextro. All these things are actually really at the end of the day is sugar for you. So you got to read the label to understand what are you eating. Now, and you have eat a lot of sugar, what it causes increase a lot of inflammation in your body, and you trigger sugar craving, get more, you want more. And if you take a lot of that, you have a chronic inflammation and eventually affect your heart, type 2 diabetes, obesity. In other words, every time you eat a lot of sugar, you get fat and obese and all that. Because then the brain is also activated and say, hey, I want more. Every time you drink more sugar, I want more. Then you really continue craving for more sugar and you are over consumption. All that side effect will come. That's why sugar is really can get you if you didn't know. And so you gotta somehow make the control. So you might ask, okay, I like to control. Where's come from? A lot of people don't realize sugar actually come from really some of the very common sauce where you take every day, like ketchup. Ketchup is actually is a lot of sugar in that. Typical ketchup has contained just a little bit ketchup has high fructose and corn syrup and 4 grams of sugar. Imagine 4 grams of sugar, just ketchup you use in your burger and all that. So a single tablespoon of ketchup has 4 grams of sugar. So now when you use ketchup, you might think about, gee, little French fry deep and you get more and more. You have eaten a lot of sugar, even you didn't know about it. Now, second one is barbecue sauce. There's a lot of hidden sugar. Barbecue sauce is often loaded with sugar that create the flavor, better taste, especially the tangy flavor of the barbecue sauce. So each 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce, 2 tablespoons contain of 16 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar, by the way. And a lot of people don't realize also salad dressing also have a lot of sugar being hidden, particularly those say light fat free. See, if you have light fat free, you say, oh, that's good for me. But on the other hand, because they have to enhance the taste due to it's really getting to light and fat free, they have a lot of add sugar to make it taste good. So you get a lot of sugar out of that, not the fat, but a lot of sugar. So some of the dressing will be like French, Thousand Island, and some even balsamic vinegar also contain a lot of sugar, like 2 tablespoons of sugar. That already have 7 grams of sugar. So you really have to just the sauce sugar will get you a lot of sugar. So really at the end of the day, how can you really prevent that? Well, first of all, reading the label because all the dressing will tell you, okay, this label says how many grams of sugar I intake. And then so you're gonna say, okay, I don't want to add sugar in there, or make it home at home. Or you can compare the label to label. So really, when you compare this brand has this much sugar, that brand less sugar, which one you take? You take the one with less sugar. That will be the most important. Now, another sauce which you commonly don't even know and so easy thought that there will be no sugar. Not true. Most common hidden sugar sauce will be like protein bar. Imagine that. I go hiking, I eat a protein bar. But protein bar has sugar, alcohol, usually sorbitol, that is inside uh, the protein bar, and the high fructose corn syrup, which is same thing, which like same sugar will continue to move your blood sugars up. A lot of times they also say, hey, I have natural sweetener like honey, agave, nectar, maple syrup. But on the hand, these are still lots of sugar. But only thing is, good thing is agave, they just make the spike don't spike up. They will slow spike. So, but on the hand, it's still adding sugar to you. Plus, dry fruit is a lot of sugar, really concentrated in sugar that you don't even know. So eat dry fruits and it's really popped a lot of sugar. So really, what can you do? So, well, first of all, you got to read the label again. If this is chocolate bar or whatever, protein bar, that one have more sugar, that one less, you buy a less sugar one, right? You also make sure that the protein bar has less than 5 to 7 grams of sugar per serving. That's really good because now you control the amount of sugar you take because one bar is 5 to 7 grams is better than one bar 16 grams. So when I go to the supermarket, I look at that label and choose the one with the lowest sugar in there. Or you want to make your own protein bar, control the ingredient or sugar content, go in maybe using honey, whatever, that can be done too. So really very important to really look at the label, what you buy, and that will help you tremendously. Now, a lot of people don't realize yogurt, there's sugar. Yes, it tastes good, but often yogurt adds a lot of sugar, usually from cane sugar, fruit purees, which make it taste good. Which is true. Sugar tastes real good with a lot of fruits in there, but low fat or fat-free yogurt because they don't taste too well if you don't add the sugar. So to add more sugar in there to compensate the taste. So you really got to look at fat-free, low-fat. How much sugar is that? Plus, a lot of yogurt at the bottom. What do they have? They have all the fruits. So if you mix the fruit, they also often adding sugar or fruit juice concentrate to make the fruit taste really nice. And then that at the end of the day had a lot of sugar in there, so add sugar. So you like the lower label. If you have the label say this brand has all this sugar, this brand has less, you buy the less one, right? And then your light yogurt. Now, typically light yogurt, low calorie, but on the other hand, the artificial sweetener or sugar alcohol, which same thing will give you the similar effect with sugar. So you got to read the label. So if that's the case, what do? You don't eat yogurt? No, it's not. You basically still buy like Greek yogurt, but adding the real fruits. Like for example, blueberry. That would be wonderful. And so, or maybe you want to add small amount of honey, that would be okay too. But you do it yourself rather than manufacturer give you. So now you have natural stuff. So you control the yogurt with your own natural ingredient rather than they give you all the sugar content that you don't ask for. Okay. Now, You might not know milk has a lot of sugar. For example, chocolate milk, strawberry milk, vanilla milk. Wow. I used to love chocolate milk, to be honest. That was one of my favorite. But when I look at the sugar, it has 22, 25 grams. I said, forget this one. So basically, because of the flavor of the milk has large amount of sugar to make you feel really delicious. So the chocolate milk has usually 12 to 20 grams of added sugar in there to make sure that that chocolate milk tastes wonderful. So now you know if that's the case, maybe I could not taking that chocolate milk, I take just regular milk. Now, you regular milk, it can be an issue because a lot of time you have regular milk. You got to really look at the label. I found milk basically not even flavor. One milk company give you 16 grams of sugar. One milk company give you 5 grams of sugar. So which one you take? 5 grams sugar, right? So really, you have to look at the label to make sure that you understand what milk you're taking. I didn't realize just even different milk, different brand give you different sugar. Do it taste differently? Definitely, the sweet taste milk tastes really good. But the low sugar one also tastes very good. But actually, once you get used to the taste, you will go for a low sugar milk. But it's really helping you every time. Also, the plant-based milk. A lot of time you're now saying that, hey, I'm not going to take regular cow's milk. I'm going to take almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, coconut milk. Now, all this can be also added with sugar with 12 to 12 grams per cup. So you really have to look at the label to choose the milk that is with the lowest sugar. Now, lactose-free milk, don't kid yourself, because lactose-free is also requires sugar to kind of add it on. Although there are no lactose, but on the hand, they need the sugar to make sure that you taste good. So at the end of the day, they give you different type of sugar, but at the end of the day, the sugar breakdown is still sugar. So you gotta look at the label to make sure that you have enough, not take a lot additional for nothing. Now, a lot of people don't realize coffee creamers. Now, this is something that a lot of time you go to a meeting, you get French vanilla, hazelnut, chamomile. Wow, all kind of flavor. It looks wonderful and make the coffee taste wonderful. But that's also full of sugar because of that. They have to make it to this sweetener to help you to make your coffee taste real good. So 1 tablespoon of this type of coffee mix usually become 4 to 6 grams sugar. Now you said, well, I'm just taking 4 or 6 grams, but you gotta start adding up every single time. You make 2, 3 cup, then what you have. You already 20 grams of sugar adding to you. So do you want to have that? Not really, right? So really gotta be a little bit nice to yourself, not to add all these additional stuff in there. Now, also powder creamers, where you take the powder creamer, they also usually 1 tablespoon have 1 to 2 grams sugar. So you got to really make sure that less of that. Also, non-dairy creamers like almond, vanilla, all this good thing. Again, because you don't add sugar in that, they don't taste that well. So to add some sugar, then you can add up with additional 4 or 5 grams sugar. The important thing is when you add it all up, that will cause you problems because you might say, well, I only take 5 grams, but then you add 5 grams plus your cream, or you don't put cream, your coffee with a little sugar, add it all together, you might have 20 grams of sugar. So it's a lot. Now, there's also sugar-free creamer, which is really, it can be a total hidden sugar in there because they use artificial sweetener. They don't contain sugar per se, but it actually gets your brain to react to say, I want more sugar. So at the end, what you do, you're gonna choose an unsweetened type of sugar creamer that will be real nice, and you have uh, 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 a plain dairy milk. You avoid adding more flavors there, like you don't want vanilla flavor. All those things will really get you more sugar into your coffee. You have to check the nutritional label, see how many sugar in there in this adding flavor or adding creamer. So you need to have basically continue to control the amount of sugar intake. So in that result, you will continue to get your cup of coffee, continue to enjoy that, but not a lot of sugar added. Now, another thing a lot of people realize, granola is another one that had a lot of sugar because a lot of time granola need sweeten it to make sure that it tastes good. So they will usually add honey, agave syrup, maple syrup, brown sugar. So many of the granola contain a lot of sugar to sweeten it up to get you taste good. Now, usually add up to 12 to 16 grams of sugar per serving. So you need to really, when you get granola, you got to really understand what you're eating. Plus, it also add a lot of dry fruit in there. So those dry fruit, raisin, cranberry, or banana, whatever they get in, those are also sweetened with sugar. So when you add that up, that definitely will have give you more sugar. Plus, the chocolate chips. Now, chocolate chips, yogurt with coating of chocolate chips. Again, this is more sugar. So chocolate chips with yogurt coated peas maybe add now more sugar to you. So you need to watch and so not continue adding more and more. Because each day a little more, then at the end of the day you have over 200 grams of sugar and you're not good for you, right? So you gotta control a little bit in breakfast, a little bit lunch, a little bit dinner, then you achieve your goal. Now oatmeal also the same thing. Oatmeal has a lot of flavor. Packaged oatmeal, which contains maple syrup, brown sugar, whatever, apple cinnamon, those will have 10, 12 to 20 grams of sugar. So again, you have to look at the label, see, wow, is there a lot of sugar? Or I take the 5 gram one, it will be better than you take the 12 or 20 grams one because all of those add up. Plus, you have a pre-sweetened variety that really oatmeal labels are low sugar, but they have also artificial sweetener to add on to make it taste good. So you didn't even think about it, and then you eat it. Wow, actually add up a lot of sugar. So really, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it's a healthy flavor oatmeal. But what you can do is you can look at, is it lot sugar or little sugar? You still add small amount of sugar, maybe 5 grams altogether if you want to, but make sure that it is continue to low sugar so you can make sure it's not over amount of sugar because all these little things going to start add up. Now, one of the common things we make the mistake is really breakfast cereal. I tell you, man, this is another killer. Now, when I was not sensitive before, I loved to eat uh, big time cereal, Foster Flake, Cocoa Puff, fruit cereal. Wow, that tastes real good, right? But as you time go older, when you get older, when you start eating that, I start reading the label. I said, man, you mean every day I eat 12 gram or 15 gram just in a breakfast cereal? And this is per serving. And some of the cereal, I got scared. I look at that 45 gram per serving. Imagine that, how much sugar. Then I added it all up. I said, you know what? I'm eating 500 pounds per sugar. If when we do all that, right? Wow, that's amazing. When you just multiply that by the amount of sugar each day times 360 days, you will be scared. So I said, forget this. I'm not gonna take cereal with sugar. So usually you gotta look at the content. Is it 12 to 15 grams, some of the 40 gram? Wow, that's a lot of sugar. So you want to make sure to take healthy whole grain cereal, or maybe with some granola cereal with nuts, as that was just as good. So make sure that it's 5 to 8 gram is good, not to do the 8 to 12 gram because they have a lot of things about that. So you got to make sure you do that. Plus, you want to make sure that you have a lot of fiber and a lot of vitamin. So, but just keep in mind, all that also contains some form of sugar. So make sure to take the look of the label. Make sure that breakfast cereal is not a lot. So I actually cut off all the sugary, breakfast cereal because after reading the label, you gotta ask yourself, wow, do I really want to have all this sugar with me every day for 365 days? When you multiply that 365 days, you'll be very motivated. Take off that cereal away. Okay, so how do you stop craving with all these things? Because a lot of us say, "Hey, I really need to eat to satisfy my sweet teeth, right? My sweet tooth." So no problem. We all understand you might always crave for that. But first of all, you have to increase your diet with a lot of good protein, healthy fat every meal. Now, the protein will be included eggs, chicken, beans, all the healthy fats such as avocado, nuts, olive oil to cook it, or and then you with that you actually stabilize your sugar. It keep you full longer, so you when you're full, you don't feel like you are craving for sugar snack. That is very important. Now that will be the key here to keep your food with protein, not sugar, right? Now another thing is you don't skip your meal. So don't think that I'm not gonna eat this in the morning. I can eat lunch. But during the time of 11 o'clock, now you need to eat breakfast, right? Now 11 o'clock. Then you can say, wow, I feel hungry, man. I really choose something. And especially, work, your blood sugar start going down. And then you feel real hungry. You know what? Then you're going to start eating chips to satisfy your hunger. And you eating all the different stuff just to get yourself satisfied. Net result, at the end of the day, you actually get more sugar up. You get more craving of that sugar, and that's not help you. So eat your good breakfast, good lunch, and then good dinner. And in the afternoon, 4 p.m., instead of eating sugary snack, you can eat some not cereal, but celery, vegetable. Cut small little vegetable celery was about maybe 6 inches, and then you cut it and you chew on it. It's good fiber, good satisfaction for you, and it help you to at least go over the hump, so to speak. So try that vegetable snack. That will definitely help you out because a lot of time when I do that, I also cut some cauliflowers, broccoli, cereal, celery, that kind of stuff that can continue to help you chew on, but no sauce, just chew it. And a little while later, you say, wow, I'm satisfied. I'm feeling good. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't also realize you got to stay hydrated. Why stay hydrated? Because thirst kind of gets you to be hungry. If you don't have enough fluid, it will cause you to really get you to say, well, I'm hungry. I like to eat something. So that's why low sugar help you to really, at the end of the day, you drink 2 liters of fluid a day. It help you actually to stay hydrated, so you don't feel hungry and go for a snack. So low sugar is very important. It's not saying that, wow, how come Andrew get you to get 2 liter? Because every day is about 3 liter water. So when you have 2 liter water or 2 liter low sugar, it helps you to first dilute your blood not to be so thick. Plus you void out all the sugar, void out all cholesterol, void out all the salt, and that will help you for your body. And that's the reason why we're gonna help you to stay hydrated. That is all this by design. Plus, if you have good sleep, you have your poor sleep, you actually have craving. Like for example, you should have 7 to 9 hours sleep, 7 to 9 hours. But you lack of sleep, what happened is you're gonna get your gremlin, which is your hunger hormone to come out to tell you, I need to eat. Okay, so really at the end of the day, you don't want to have less of sleep. Plus, because your lack of sleep, you will actually get you to eat more craving for food, chips, and all that. So a lot of people stress that tend to also have that same issue. So if you are stressed, you actually bring up cortisol, which is a hormone to help you to be fight. They want more sugar, so you get all prepared to fight. So again, this is really going to get you to eat more craving for snack, chips, all the other stuff that you eat, maybe cookies, all that will suddenly, wow, I really eat a lot of that. I add some weight, right? So more important with that is help you to lower your stress, do some exercise. You can walk, you can go out to park, walk half an hour, come back. Meditation, all that could help you continue to lower your stress, and that will be really good. Now, this is one of the sort of a real life example. You have scrambled egg, avocado, whole grain toast in the morning. You have snack with almonds, one boiled egg, lunch with grilled chicken, mixed salad. I do a lot of that actually. I eat a lot of mixed salad with grilled chicken. It's very good. Instead of using a lot of salad dressing, I use olive oil, vinaigrette. And also dinner, you get salmon. Salmons give you a lot of good protein plus omega. your cow salad or mashed cauliflower was very good. It's not rice because rice can go up your blood sugar. And then make sure all the meals include low sugar tea. So net result, you really can able to get good protein, regular with low sugar, and hydrated with low sugar tea, and you have whole food and really very nutritious meal. You can take a picture of that, and that will help you to get understanding what you eat. Very important to do that because that will help you to lower your blood sugar for sure. Now, some of the common name you look at label because I keep asking the guys to look at labels, right? So the common names of sugar is usually sucrose, glucose, fructose, high fructose, corn syrup, rice syrup, caramel, honey, cane sugar. All these are sugar, basically. They will different type of sugar. They convert to sugar. And then usually a lot of less obvious name is dextro, maltose, agave nectar, honey, whatever. Those are also sugar. And also important is really check all these sugar with, like, for example, anything with OSE is like the glucose, or OSE most like this is sugar. And what you try to target, even that product have that, try to do it with 5 grams of sugar per serving. Now, 5 grams is a good target. So remember that. I know all the food will have labeled some kind of sugar, but important to do that is you only take 5 grams of sugar. So that will be important for you. Okay. I think that will be a good thing to start off. And also, if you think of, hey, really all this sugar, maybe don't eat those sugars product. And then with replace with is a high sugar drinks. Drink low sugar tea. Drink low sugar. Low sugar have no sugar. Okay, and then make sure you eat low sugar snack. As I mentioned to you, you can actually cut your celery to small little 6 inch, 5 inch, and then just chew on this. You got fiber. You got good feel of eating, and or use cauliflower or broccoli, raw broccoli. Wow, it's really delicious and will satisfy your hungry needs. So you also take a lot of fluid, like for example, take low sugar tea regularly. Start off a glass with 6 to 8 cup. That will help you out because low sugar tea is only 2 things in there: guava and bitter mat. Help you to definitely lower your blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol. Keep drinking that because this is one of the tea and definitely help you for lower your 3 high. If you continue lower your 3 high, you'll be very good and help you. No, at the end of the day, really, uh, you have to eat and you gotta have a healthy food diet, but not to contain a lot of sugar. And how do you do that? You have to check the label, the ingredient, what kind of sugar you have. When you look at ingredient, anything with the OSE on the last, like fructose, glucose, OSE, and that, those are sugar. So you really got to ask yourself, well, do you want to add how many gram of this fructose sugar, which indicates sugar? So try to do it with only 5 grams worth. And maybe you don't necessarily give up your favorite food, but instead of looking for actual alternative, like for example, if you go to have yogurt, you use great yogurt by adding the real fruits, like for example, strawberry, blueberry, all this good stuff. It tastes good after you add it together. And then you can also maintain continuously with a lot of good intake, but less sugar. And plus, your sugar craving, you don't want to get your sugar go up and down. That is no good because sugar shooting up and down is not good. You really have to stabilize your sugar, get your sugar up slowly because when you eat, the sugar definitely goes up. So you gotta take a product that is not give you high glycemic index, will spike your sugar up a lot and come back down quickly. That will not good for you. So you need to get, like for example, either egg, apple, pears, that kind of stuff is low glycemic index. Plus, you gotta have good sleep, 7 to 9 hours sleep if you can. If you're not enough sleep, you're gonna get hungry, you get stressed, and you're cravings for sugar. So you really need to look at all that. If you have well-balanced diet, good sleep, good rest, not stress, you will definitely help you to reduce all your need on sugar intake. And then you plan your meal carefully because I will eat in the morning with low sugar cereal, and my lunch will be chicken salad, not to put a lot of regular dressing, but more on olive oil with a little vinaigrette. And you have healthy fat because you have now very low fat chicken or turkey. And you're avoiding all the hidden sugar in your food because when you take less processed food, when you do all that, you were able to actually kind of check, say, wow, do I do a lot of sugar intake? Plus, if you can, even better, to write down the amount of sugar intake because all the label, like for example, if I eat my cereal, I know how many grams of sugar I take. Write it down. So you add it all up, all the food for 3 meals, most likely you have 150 grams of sugar less. You, you are very good. So keep in mind, make sure keep continue to lower your sugar and lower your intake. That is my today webinar. Hope everybody have give you a good indication of what's happening. And my email is Andy ANDY at WAHFONG.com, ANDY at WAHFONG.com. Write to me. I hope we can answer your question, or WhatsApp us 6792 area code 852. WhatsApp is 6792-8891. So we hope that this will give you a really good understanding of what is where the sugar come from and how to eliminate the sugar intake. And if you can do that all the time, you are very good. And I hope all that will help you to lower your blood sugar, continue to be good, to be healthy living. Thank you very much for joining our lecture. I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.